So we're here at Brighton Electric. This is an incredible studio. It's more than that. It's got 2 incredible control rooms, 2 great live rooms, a Neve in one, an API in another. The Cure, for instance, have come in here and recorded, and many other amazing bands. But it has rehearsal rooms. It has a rental business where you can get any kind of gear, and it has a real sense of community here. They've got a bar, they've got a coffee shop, everything just located in there for the musicians. So a wonderful, wonderful. Well, they'll tell us about it. Jimmy, the manager, will tell us about this building. It's a beautiful Victorian building that they have done incredible work with. All right, let's go and meet Jimmy.
Hello,
Jimmy!
How you doing, mate?
I'm good, I'm good.
Good to see you come in.
Got a bit of Latin on the floor. Tell us about that.
Latin is still around. Yeah, so this is the old Brighton Corporation logo, in God we believe. So you'll see this on civic buildings in the city, you see it on the Dome. There's like a lovely statue of these fishy guys at Preston Park, and another one at Norfolk Square. So before city councils, you had corporations. So that was the Brighton Corporation logo, and this building was built as the headquarters for the tramway company.
Amazing building.
Yeah, really
incredible.
nice, like old 19-inch brickwork, solid walls. In fact, lots of relics from the building now live up at the Keep and at Brighton Museum.
When was it built? Victorian, presumably.
Victorian, yeah, 1890s, we think.
Okay.
1896. But the records of the trams are from the kind of 1901, 1902 era, so it's hard to say exactly, but that's the ballpark, yeah.
God, I wish Brighton still had trams. That would be
I
awesome.
wish it did too. These 2 holes here in the floor, this is the old ticket sort of turnstile. So when the owner of the building moved in, this was all just completely boarded up, except for a couple of hatches where you would buy your tram ticket, come through the turnstile, and the platform was out the back door and ran this side of the building and kind of rejoined Lewis Road this way.
Wow.
It's madness. Because this actually, where we're sat, is an old floodplain. So we're in a valley. So the water table's really high. When it rains a lot, it's not uncommon that the water comes right up to the front door.
Yowza.
So yeah.
So cool. I love this mosaic floor.
Yeah, the mosaic's great. Mosaic's staying.
Now, everything about this is really cool for me because I had a studio with a multi-purpose like this, and I feel like this really is the future, or at least the present and the future, where you bring everything together. You record, you rehearse, you rent gear, you have a sense of community and stuff. So I suppose the first thing on the right is you've got a bar.
We have this bar area, yeah. So this acts as a nice little place to meet, and like exactly like you say, we're a very holistic company. We do lots of different things. Music is a fun industry to work in because things come and go, and you think you're onto something, and then you have to dynamically change what you offer because the industry changes, and particularly technology for a recording studio, as I'm sure you're well aware. As technology gets better and better and more accessible to everyone, you've got to think of new ways to keep bringing people in. So Guinness is good.
Guinness is good, okay.
Guinness is good at doing that. Nice coffee, friendly staff. We've got the front end here where we sell all the tour spares. We've got a very strange selection of helmets and a thermometer there as well.
Well, so you should. Then of course, all the logical things. You break some strings.
Yep, absolutely.
Bass, guitar, strings.
If you need a 5-foot pig to go surfing with, we can offer that on a short-term lease. We've got
sticks and ramen.
Yeah, sticks
and porridge. And lots of soft drinks as well. No, this is great.
Yeah, because in a day we may see 40, 50, 60 bands, so
great.
What we love at Electric is being able to offer a band's first rehearsal or a band that are preparing to perform on the Pyramid stage at Glastonbury. Yep. We hopefully can look after every single, different element of the industry. That's the plan, really. And that everyone gets treated with the same respect and quality of service. That's sort of really the mission of this place, was to bring really high-end experiences to everyone, because
amazing.
It shouldn't be exclusive, we think. Yeah.
No, totally. Let's check out some of the rooms.
All right, come on then. So this corridor is hilarious at night. When we've got bands in every room, it just vibrates. It's like opening up 10 YouTube tabs all at once.
Awesome.
So we got, guys in here. Our little maintenance departments up the stairs. There's all kinds of spares and maintenance. And this is like, a standard sort of large room. So what we do for all bands is we'll provide a simple backline, well, with nice gear, ideally, and like a 900 watt or so PA for vocals and keyboards, that sort of thing. You know, this room, Monday to Friday, is a rehearsal room, but because we're also in an event space, it's not uncommon that this will be full of like, you know, curry for 100 people on a Friday or Saturday, or
Nice.
a yoga place on a Sunday, or, yeah, they're all multi-use spaces.
I love
There
it.
have been gigs in here.
And there have been gigs in here, yeah.
Yeah, you could do a gig in here.
We're close to the venue, so yeah, a little floor show, 40, 50 people.
40, 50 people, yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Remind me, who was the band we heard upstairs?
So upstairs today we've got Monarchists, who are a really good local sort of
It
punk
sounded
band.
amazing coming down.
Yeah, we'll go up closer to there in a sec.
And presumably, I mean, look, you come in here, bring your laptop, record your band.
Absolutely. A lot of that happens here, yeah.
What's your per hour price on average here?
So on average, I mean, in the day, it's super cheap. You know, we're talking 25 quid for 4 hours. Super
That's for
cheap.
the Americans, that's probably about 30
$30.
$35
Yeah.
for
and then,
4 hours. It's less than $10 an hour.
Oh, super cheap. I mean,
It's amazing.
My band will go out to America, and if you record in rehearse Midtown Manhattan,
Yeah.
that's where you understand how expensive
Oh, God,
rehearsal
yes.
can be.
Yeah. Did you ever rehearse in LA?
No, we haven't rehearsed. We've rehearsed at Diamond Studios in Nashville, which is a beautiful studio. But again, we're talking like $70 an hour at least.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's where the game here is slightly different, because we have a large Victorian building, lots of musicians and bands who can't do anything at home because they live in flats, are going to upset the neighbours. So during the day, it's quite competitive. It's more like 60, 70 quid to rehearse at night.
Still ridiculously cheap.
It's very cheap for what you get, you know, old vintage Fender amps and
Yeah.
nice PAs and things like that.
You must have your own in-house repair then.
We do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the repair bill's massive.
Yeah.
But valves just sound good, you know, you got to have them.
Yeah, there's that sort of visceral experience of standing in front of an amp.
Yeah, this is it. And more of our clients are moving on to, you know, DSP, you know, Neurals and Kempers and stuff. But there's something about just making a racket in a room like this with a vaulted ceiling and hearing it crash about. It's as close as you're going to get to replicating being on stage without being on stage, which is a whole other thing.
And that interaction between musicians.
Yes, exactly.
Like when I work doing pre-production with artists, I remember I read something with Rocco Prestia, who, you know, the bass player for Tower of
amazing
Power.
bass player.
Yeah.
Right hand of like...
And they asked him about, you know, jamming with drummers and how he got tight and everything. And it blew my mind. He's like, in rehearsal, I go up and I put my foot on the front of the kick.
Oh, it was a tactile thing.
Just genius.
Yeah.
So he just sat there and he could feel because you're in a rehearsal room like this, and even some of the biggest bands in the world are rehearsing in smaller rooms.
Yes.
And so they haven't got this massive, like, you know, in-ear kind of whatever. And there's nothing better than just feeling the low end. He's like, boom, 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 boom. So a little tip there for bass players and drummers: put your foot on the front lip here of your kick drum. And you'll just feel, yep, that's it. It's amazing. Because how many times have you rehearsed and you can't hear the kick drum?
It's so true. That's something that does get lost. Bands do put the kick through the PA. But like you say as well, I suppose because bass is quite a tactile thing,
Yeah.
if you're doing something which doesn't feel like your foot's feeling, that's a really good indication, actually.
Yeah.
It's a good tip. I might try that.
I started from Rocco, though.
Next up, I'll show you the three newest rooms, which we actually built about 6 years ago. This used to be the back door to the building, and this led out to a courtyard, sort of patio. Actually, Oosh Tours, the tour hire company in Portslade, started out of a little shed in what was the yard here.
Nice.
But now we've just got these 3 rooms, so
These are all more rehearsal rooms
more
down
rehearsal
here?
rooms here, this sort of thing.
Great.
This does also act as a green room to the venue when we have, you know, need for it. So yeah, just more of the same. Good quality backline, air conditioning, PAs.
I was about to say, the thing we always forget in Britain is air conditioning.
Yeah, we're not very famous for
We're not
using
very famous for it. When it gets hot here,
Everyone panics, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And you can have like a little stage fan which moves the hot air about, which is really useful.
So you do actually have an air conditioner.
Yeah, we sort of almost completed it now. In fact, the only rooms that don't have air conditioning are the recording studio live rooms, because they're such huge ceilings and they've got this volume of air. They never get too hot. They get cold in the winter, but that's easier to kind of blast some hot air into them.
Yeah.
But these rooms actually follow the mix room design by Nick Whittaker, so they're all vaulted. There's no sort of parallel walls. So they sound really good in here.
Another Yamaha. Oh, this is
Yeah, but slightly
stage custom.
Yeah, lots of stage customs. In fact, let me see what we've got. I think in room C we might have a Gretsch Renown kit at the moment. But yeah, it's a real fight. Having 14, 15 rooms, we spend a lot on
14
reheading.
or 15 rooms.
So heads, hardware, you know, things like stalls go down all the time, kick pedals. It's a lot to manage, you know. If you don't take care of things, after a few weeks, you sort of think, where is everything? Was it? But yeah, it's all part of the fun.
I love those little JCM 900 combos. People really maligned. People are like, oh, JCM 900. I still have a 100-watt switchable 50-watt head.
Yeah.
It's still my favorite recording.
They never go down, and they're such workhorses and loud.
And you can make them sound like pre-800s. You can make them sound like JMPs and older.
Yeah, the Plexi sort of vibe.
People will fight me on it all the time, but I did talk to a couple of smart people, the amp builders, and they're like, yeah, 900's a great amp. I don't know why people don't like them.
They're awesome. And it's funny, what will happen at the studio, if we have a problem, say DeVille, goes down 2 or 3 times in a financial quarter, for example.
The financial quarter.
What am I saying? But yeah, no, if I'm like here, like, it's this serial number again, we just sell it. We just sell it for cheap. We say, look, there you go, we get rid of it. But the 900, I mean, I think in the 15 years I've been here, I've known one of them to go down once, and we've got like 3 of them. So you go a way up, you know. All
right, so I'm going to ask you dumb questions because you're really opening a door with some good stuff. What are your main... Because you've got to have microphones, for instance, that people can drop and throw around. So what are the ones that you always lean on?
So you need, sure, SM58s. Okay. SM58s are modular. If something breaks inside, it's point to point. It's really easy to resolder. If you need new cap, they're really easy to find. There's no point buying cheap kind of copies of 58s because they just don't go the distance. And then you can replace the grills. You know, there are those really nice Sennheiser mics. I think they're called the E95 something. So we got some of those for like, you know, hires and external bits. But yeah, 58s, they never go down. 57s, you know, they're the, you know, there's just banks of those. And then in the studios, again, the dynamics, 41s, 441s, but then you also need, I mean, Josh will talk you through all this.
Josh will take us through all that stuff. But that was interesting because I think this is one of the things that we forget when we're talking about microphones. And people will say, oh, you can get a $50 clone of a 58. Like, yeah, you can.
You can, but when you're running a commercial facility, people just want to see the real deal, right?
They want to see the real deal, but they also want to know if it falls off the stand and it's still going to work when you put it back up.
Yeah, exactly. And the build quality on those legendary designs, there's a reason a DW5000 kick pedal is so popular.
Is that what you use here?
Yeah, I think at the moment, what's in here, we've got an Iron Cobra, but we will always just use an Iron Cobra or a DW pedal because it just goes longer and it is serviceable and it doesn't sort of shear and fall apart like the cheap stuff.
You've got thousands and thousands of hours on the microphones, thousands of hours on the pedals.
Yeah, so buy once, you know, that's our kind of mentality, really.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is good stuff to know. And a good shout out for a JCM 900. I've always thought they were the most maligned amps when I absolutely love them.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go upstairs, have a little look up there. Come on, Em. Back through the corridor. There we go. This is what we use. So it'd be boring. Shut that door. So yeah, back at reception, we'll have a little look at some of the rooms upstairs.
So you've got like a little hangout area back there?
Yeah, there's a lovely little terrace out there with like booths, and we can play the music from the bar out there. Yeah, it's really nice in the summer actually.
It's a good, wet, English Brighton day. Before Jimmy takes us upstairs, I've got to check this out. Here comes Josh.
Hello.
2 things. Place is a complete honeycomb. Look, there's somebody in here just rehearsing drums under the stairs. I love this. But this is awesome. So this is the entrance here. You can see a double-decker bus there. Look at those beautiful chandeliers. It's really amazing. Jimmy!
Hello.
Take us upstairs, please, Sir Jimster.
Okay, come on then, up we go. Up we go. So what, have we got any fun artwork? So yeah, we got a cool, I think this is a fail artwork. Is that a John Simpson? Come on up.
That's awesome. Who's this?
That's Fail. Oh, I think he's an American artist.
It's really good.
I think that's a John Simpson. No, maybe that's not a John Simpson. This is why we need James, the owner, to tell us what these artworks are. This is a limited Marshall.
Is it Jubilee?
Jubilee.
Yeah, I used to have one.
2550.
Oh, it's a 2550. Those are great.
Yeah, that's a really fun amp, actually. You'll probably know more than I do. Is it a
Well,
1980s one?
I think people watching this will correct me because I'm probably wrong, but I believe Slash's own Marshall is basically one of these. This was like, so he had this kind of modded, but it's built off of this. Regardless, I had one of these when they were new. Not to, I was 4 years old, I wish. No, when I was a teenager, I had one of these when they first came out. They are phenomenal sounding amps.
Very, very cool. And with the voltage switch, like so ahead of its time. You see it, it's such a standard thing now, the attenuator, not normally on a pot. But the fact you go between 25 and 50 watt is quite cool.
It's so good. Wow, it's a great room.
Yeah, this is another good room, actually. So right now we're directly above sort of room 2. You can sometimes just hear room 2. And also there could be a doorway here that would go through to the loft above the venue, but there isn't. So that's just where we
thinking about it?
Yeah, we were thinking, but annoyingly the pitch of the roof makes it quite annoying to put a doorway in here. But yeah, we're sort of directly over. It's quite hard to visualise. That used to be a window, and you would look out over where we were in room A. You'd sort of be directly above. But yeah, what we've done over the 20 years we've been here is just maximised every juice drop.
I love that you got a Gretsch up here.
Yeah, it's a bit naughty though. Gretsch with the Ludwig Rezo head.
And Evans, that's okay. We've got a view over the double deckers and over a park. What park's this?
These are all, it's quite rare for rehearsal rooms to have natural daylight. So these are all full-size natural daylight rooms up here, which is good.
It's wonderful. And your stage?
Yeah, this little stage. This actually used to be a control room. You could. There have been. Once upon a time, I played in here, yeah.
I suppose the only thing is the PAs are probably predominantly set up for a singer singing back towards the band, yeah?
This is it, very
because it's also their monitoring.
Exactly. And the problem is you'd need a PA in front of the stage, really, if you didn't want to feed back constantly. But this was actually a control room many years ago. The raised area was where the desk was, and there was a tiny little live. So this was in a very early incantation of electric, recording.
I like you said incantation rather than incarnation.
Incarnation?
No, I like incantation.
Incantation.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I'm playing a lot of Elden Ring at the moment, it's terrible.
That's awesome.
Again, it's just, we're so lucky because it's the building it is.
Parquet floors.
Well,
this would be nice to do drums on here, wouldn't it?
Yeah, roll the carpets up.
Yeah, I love parquet floors.
Yeah, it's that nice
You
slap.
mic the floor with the kit over there.
And you get that resonance.
Yeah, you just get kind of snap. It's like, you can just hear it with under your foot. It's got cat, cat, cat. Great for snares.
Yeah, for snares, absolutely. So there we go. Big old building full of rehearsal rooms, creative spaces.
I love the honeycomb.
Yeah.
So we have Josh over there who's going to take us around the studios.
Everyone.
Hello.
So I think you've got to pass me over this little clip-on thing.
Here you go.
All right, thanks, Jimmy.
It's still good to meet
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Good job.
Oh, thank you so much. Lovely to meet you.
Josh, where are we going?
We're going to go down here, down this hallway. Follow
Walk this
me.
way.
So as we go down here, you'll kind of notice our big notice board. So if anyone in Brighton's looking to join a band, this is the best place to go. Drummer wanted, producer needed, guitarist looking for, singer wanted, bass player wanted.
There you go, you got a job.
Producer must be serious. No silly producers. I don't think I'll get it on that note, actually.
You're too silly.
I'm probably too silly. But yeah, our notice board area. And as you come through...
So what control room is this?
So this is the control room of Studio 2.
Studio 2 control room.
Which also gets called the lounge, because a long time ago, before this was a studio, this was just a lounge area for people to kind of hang out in, basically. When that was all boarded up at the front, this would just be like sofas and things, just for people to chill out and have a cup of tea, whatever.
This is great.
But now it's Studio 2.
1608.
Yeah, with a lovely 1608 there.
Very
Proper
nice.
workhorse.
With...
Never had any problems with it.
Fader automation.
Yeah, it's the automation controller version, which does get used. I mean, we don't run the automation on the SD card because we mostly work in a DAW. But if you wanted to, you can track this 16-channel console into a 16-channel tape machine, and then you can use this automation controller to control your automation for tape.
Amazing.
But we actually just use it for this. It's got a DAW button at the top here, which connects over MIDI, HUI into the computer, and then we've got 16 faders, which you can then kind of like control your DAW with. It's quite fun.
And of course, you've got your Hawaiian deer.
We've got the stag on a stag do up there. Love this console so much.
I love 1608s.
Mostly because of this feature. It's great to have different options, the 550As and the 560s here on different channels. Just means that when you want to get that 1K band on an electric guitar or something, you can just put it into channels 13 to 16, and it sounds awesome.
Fantastic.
These last 8 500 series slots we haven't got engaged yet. But if this was my console...
Compression?
You can put compression on there. These map to these echo sends, these auxes here. Okay. So you have to...
You can patch around them. Does it not come up on the patch bay?
It doesn't come up on the patch bay.
They're
only accessible via the echo sends on here, which is kind of awesome. It means you can kind of mix a whole record on the box. If you wanted to get like there's a 2 series slot for the AMX RX16 reverbs.
I think I had compression on there and I could patch it in. It's probably just, you just have to go into Elco on the back probably and access it.
Possibly.
Would be my guess.
Yeah. I remember looking on the manual for quite a long time to get it on the patch bay, but we just couldn't get it out.
What I loved about this console, I mean, you probably work the same way, is you can work straight off the pre and have this as your return. So what I would do is I would have like my mix up here, while, obviously simultaneously going straight to my DAW from the pre, which is really, really awesome. I utilize every inch of these.
So you patch out of the send of the pre into the DAW and then out of the DAW into the return?
Yeah, but I had a non-automation version, so I had 8 buses there.
Yeah.
So I'd have like my kick, my kick coming up here, like maybe 2 mics on the kick, snare, maybe 2 mics, hat, and then toms I might do top and bottom, but then they're bussing, I'm sending those to whatever, one say, and then my floor here maybe goes to 2, and then I would have, basically all I'm waffling on about is that this is such a versatile
Those
console.
group faders that you're talking about here, they've ended up just putting them on this little strip here. So you've got 8 individual subs, which are just on trim pots, which you can then choose to decide to your kind of like program master out, and you can turn them on and off. And yeah, it's a really, really diverse console. Also, it's rigged for 5.1 mixing as well. It's actually got the speaker outs for 5.1.
I've spoken to API about this console because we had 003. We bought one of the first ones,
right.
And I think it's one of the greatest consoles out there.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like all kinds of large format ones, but for bang for the buck, the fact that you get a world-renowned, freaking awesome sounding console. I think they start about 45-ish or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. We actually do a lot of teaching in this space, so we have BIM students come in here.
Yeah.
And in terms of a teaching console, this is amazing because there's just so much flexibility that if you can get a student to understand one of these channel strips and kind of some of these auxes, then you kind of get all of it, really. You can go to any studio and translate this stuff across. A lot of efficient real estate usage.
Yep.
So you've got 8 auxes, which are controlled by the inside and the outside separately. And you can have them pre or not pre. Yeah.
Amazing.
It's a really great console. We love it. And then over here on the right-hand side, we've also got a nice little bank of 8 1073s. Now, these aren't the vintage ones, but they are the hand-wired AMS ones. They're from the kind of noughties, I think, is when we acquired them. They originally actually used to be in a big BCM 10 console, which we had sitting here.
Nice.
Which was an amazing console to have, but it was only 8 channels. The last 2 channels of the 10 console we had with 2254s.
Okay.
Kind of like similar to 33609 Neve compressors.
I like the 2254s, yeah.
So that was a fun console to have. And then on the side where this was, we had a PSM 12, which was a kind of portable sound module thing that Neve made for broadcast. It used to go in the back of their vans.
I remember.
Which I loved as well. It's amazing pre's, but it was super noisy and you'd have to kind of wiggle it around a bunch to get it to work. And I think the EQ was only 2 band, like a bottom end lift and a top end lift. So this is great to have this on the side. I mean, we've got 24 channels of just really great preamps here. And nice to have the trim pots here. Unlike the DPA, this goes all the way down to 0. So you can really drive the pre as much as you want. Yeah. I
see ATCs and NS10s.
ATCs and NS10s. Yeah, in the UK, quite a classic combination. We live on the ATCs mostly. They run a lot of hours, but then you've got to have 10s because people expect to see 10s. And sometimes you go to them just to see what it sounds like, and then you go back and go, oh, that's much better.
Great. So what you got going on here? First of all, what are these?
It's made by a small independent maker called POM, who make this. It's a POM Pi. It's a PYE.
So these are the Pi compressors?
Pi compressors, yeah.
I wonder what the limit ratio is, because it goes 1 to 1, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 5 to 1, limit. Yeah. I suppose technically that's 10 to 1, people say?
10 to 1 and up, usually. 10 to 1 and
up, yeah.
Now these units, they sound amazing. They've got a really quite aggressive attack on them. You can actually, when I say aggressive attack, the slow setting on the attack lets the aggressive transients out really nicely. So it's really good for kind of shaping transients in things. I like it on drum rooms.
How much do you think they are?
I know that I think I saw on the internet recently that about between £2,000 and £3,000.
Oh, okay.
Around there. I've seen one on Reverb. So they are, as I said, made by a kind of a smaller independent maker. So there aren't loads of them on the web.
Are they local here?
Yeah, definitely UK, but
UK
possibly
based, okay.
also Sussex.
Nice.
Not quite sure.
And then you got some HDXs.
HDXs.
Oh, those are HDIOs. Yeah.
Yeah, hearback unit for the headphone mixer.
Pair of distressors. A retro.
Yeah, 176, which
and
I
then
love.
These, which I looked at earlier and thought were 176s as well, but they're actually 1176s.
Yeah, this is a really good option if you just haven't got much rack real estate and you just want to get a pair of 1176s in there. Great. So this is our Studio 2, so it's not, when we go to Studio 1 next door, you'll see we've got a lot more options for compression. So we kind of have to get the classics into as much smaller amount of space as possible.
Still great. Pair of 160As. Honestly, I think these are the most underrated compressor. Everybody has them for a reason. They sound great and they're quick and easy to use. That's been my kick-in compressor since the beginning of time.
Same. Yeah, as soon as I started engineering, it was kick in, kick out. I'd probably go kind of rooms or something with these or 1176s. This, if I'm doing drum stuff, this can do some really gnarly saturation and distortion kind of things because you can pull out the compression down to 2:1, and then it's got this little, where is it on this switch? It is there. I swear to God, it's the attack. There you go, the attack. You can pull out, and that, I'm pretty sure that disengages the compression completely, and you can distort it a bit more. Though I might have to check that.
It makes it sound good when you pull that button out.
It feels good to know that there are kind of some compressors have little tricks, don't they, where you can change them.
Some extra 312s, which is great. So you've got your 16 up there and another 4 down here.
Yeah.
The 2500. Do you use that on your mix bus? What do you use that on?
If I was in here and I wanted to put some hardware compression on my mix bus, I would, definitely. I tend to go in the box for my mix bus just out of ease and flexibility.
And then an LA2A down the bottom.
And that gets a lot of use, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, some awesome stuff in here. I mean, for the Studio 2, it's great. Comfortable couch.
Yeah, really nice couch.
And a
chairs.
Behringer or Odyssey.
Yeah, so we don't do that much kind of synthy things here. Predominantly it's kind of more rock and indie, guitar, drums, bass studio. But it's handy to have something that can either just do MIDI when you just want to put like a synth part in, or you can get a little sound going for a synth bass or whatever.
Great.
It's handy to have some things knocking around, yeah.
So can we check out the Room 2 live room?
Let's check it out, yeah. There you go.
If I can figure out how to open
See what's going on. Is there anyone in there?
Nice big heavy door.
They look like they're tracking at the moment. So there is someone in there currently tracking some drums. Lovely. So what they've done, they've booked out just the room and not the control room. And obviously they've brought their own little recording set up in there, interface, couple of mics, whatever.
And it looks like they're filming it.
They could be filming it as well, yeah.
Filming performance. Great.
Some Tom's ticking along. Should we have a look in the Studio 2 mic cupboard?
Oh yeah,
which
please.
is just here.
Oh, we got some Austrian audios up here.
We've got some OC818s. Yeah.
Got some Coles. Very nice. Some Sontronics.
We've got an Aria back there. We've got a Soyuz 017 FET back here as well. So I just love getting out because every singer just goes, wow, what is this crazy thing that I'm going to sing into? It looks like a dentist tool. Or like a Soviet space rocket, which I guess is what it's kind of
There's that pair of
designed
87s?
after. Pair of 87s back there.
Nice.
Yeah, and then down dynamic shelf, we've got 57s. And
KM184s.
184s, yeah.
Some 451s, a pair of. Beta 52, good. We need that in a few days. SM7. Oh, some old school 421s.
Yeah, we got a couple of these. Nice. And one with the old 2-shell adapter on it as well.
Were these broadcast or something? I can't remember. Somebody did tell me once why they were a different colour, but maybe I'm getting it wrong. Sure. Can't remember. Or maybe they're just made a different colour.
Well, they sound better because they're cream.
They reflect the sound better because they're cream. Okay. Audix D6 de rigueur for the more rocky stuff.
Oh, this kind of we overlooked a minute ago. Cloud 44A.
Yeah, I love those.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, I have one of those. It's beautiful. Yeah.
So that's the Studio 2 mic cupboard. Also, we've got a sneaky little thing down here as well, which is just a nice little box.
Oh.
a reissue modern Neumann U47 FET.
47.
Yeah. It's just nice to keep that in its box because it's, obviously a special mic. That's a Bayer Dynamic M69.
M69.
Which is our little resident trash mic.
That was great. Phil Collins. A pair of 414s.
Yeah. There's a BULS one and there's an XLS one as well.
Nice. The obligatory 57s.
And something else fun in a little box down here, which gets a lot of use these days. I can dim the honours, actually, Warren. You can lift that lid for me. Go on.
What is this?
This is...
An AEA.
You got it.
Yeah.
Everyone's new favourite stereo ribbon mic.
Yeah, these are great.
Which is very intimidating. This is an AEA R88.
Yeah, we use these on rooms. They're absolutely amazing.
Yeah, rooms and overheads, and just even for any kind of instrument where you just want a bit of vibe. It's so nice to have a stereo on one mic, just to move it around the room. Super easy. We had one just in Studio One for a while, but then everyone wanted it. So when there was 2 sessions going on, it was always, are you using the AEA? Are you using the AEA?
Now you have 2.
So now you have 2, exactly, yeah.
Very nice indeed.
Let's go into the control room of Studio One.
Cables. Stands. Royal Blood. Signed poster.
Little gift poster from them, those guys. One of my favourite cupboards.
Nice. Lots of snareage.
Lots of snares, makes a lot of noise, it's a lot of racket. Yeah, we've got some good options here. Some classic Ludwigs and some more interesting things as well. So a huge Remo snare, Supraphonics, DW brass.
Lovely.
Yeah, some good options, basically.
And then you've got the rental business here anyway, so there's even more drums.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes people will just hire out the Black Beauty for a few days or whatever for a gig, for a session.
I love this control room.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like walking into a control room and just hearing the sound drop away. Because this building is so chaotic usually with just bands playing everywhere, which is amazing. But to come in here and then just be like...
So broadcast Neve.
Peace and quiet. Yeah, I'm just going to close this door.
So this is interesting. So these look like, these EQs are this kind of period where Audix, Neve and Cowrec made these. Like the PQ 1061s, the Cowrecs, they have exactly the same EQ points. And I think it was, somebody told me, you can tell me if I'm wrong or have your own opinion, but somebody told me these were broadcast Neve, they were BBC spec'd, the frequencies they wanted. So they're not quite the same as rock and roll, but there's some interesting things. It's like 27, 47, 82, 150, 270. I love these EQs on guitars.
Yeah.
Aren't they amazing on guitars?
I actually love them on everything. I think the points are just excellent. All the points, I wouldn't change a thing about these EQs, but
Nice.
This is kind of the console that I grew up on. I like spend a lot of time in this room and know this desk kind of inside out. So
it's
for me,
it's interesting. Some of these frequencies are like where my brain goes. So I usually cut like this is 390.
390, 400. Do you want that out of your kick in or out of your toms or whatever? It's
56 on the kick.
Oh, it's so subby.
Yeah, it's really good. 100 on the bass, 180 on the bottoms. The low end on the snare.
Yeah, exactly.
But for the guitar EQ, you've got like
1.8,
3.9. I don't know. I always just had so much fun. And then you could use the 3.9. Yeah. You can have some real fun with this.
Yeah, and that top end is not where the 1073 is. It's at 10K rather than 12.
Interesting. Yeah, I love these. Yeah, I had a pair of PQ 1061s and Cowrecs, which were different colours, of course, but identical EQ frequencies, and I just love. Yeah, it's a great console. You have compression in it as well. Oh, nice.
Yeah, we got a pair.
Yeah, 33314s. I had a pair of these in brown and yellow, or brown and orange.
Ooh.
They were BBC. They're from BBC Broadcasting House, Manchester. A pair of them. I love these. They're very spongy when you want them to be. You can do so much good with these.
But it's the same kind of circuitry as a 33609 where you get the limit stage first,
Yep.
into the compression afterwards, and ins and outs of both, which is
Again,
really
very
handy.
radio. It cannot clip.
Yeah. Hold it down. Doesn't get a lot of mixing work. Tends to be a tracking desk, to be honest.
That's fine.
That's quite modern these days. We have had it recently rejuvenated and all the kind of switches and pots are fixed. Unfortunately, lost a few of these little blue caps over the years where the glue's just worn away and then don't know where they've ended up.
I'm sure you can find them online somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have any history on it? Do you know where it came from?
Yeah, I do actually. It was 1973 or 4 or 5, that kind of like early mid-70s era. And we bought it from a Mormon church radio station or television station in the States. Nice. So it started its life here, Cambridge, was shipped over to the States and spent most of its life broadcasting Mormon sermons.
How much you pay for it? Anybody idea?
Oh, I don't know, but it's definitely a lot less than what it's worth now.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. it's appreciated well.
Speaker-wise, some interesting combination. You've got the Genelecs, the 1030s,
1030s.
NS10s, but then some nice big ATCs. You do love your ATCs out here.
Yeah, we love the ATCs. And it's, again, the same kind of thing as Studio 2, but these are like we call them party speakers, really. Because these are when the label walk in or the exec walks in and you want to just have everything just sound amazing and instantly blow some hair back, they're the ones you put on. When you go more critical, the 1030s are great at going in a bit more detail.
It's great the way you've got the live room laid out there. You can look through it from here.
Yeah.
It's a big enough control room that you can get a band and a few people hanging out without necessarily being, a lot of control rooms finish here and they're hovering over you.
Yeah, it's nice and spacious, actually.
Two overdub rooms, that's great.
So yeah, that room there to your right is the vocal booth, which is all plumbed in, proper plumbed in. It's a really nice little vocal booth space.
Nice and dead again.
Really well treated. Which obviously gets used as well as a little ISO room as well for amps and things sometimes when you're doing that kind of stuff.
I noticed this other overdub room here leads out into the courtyard.
It does. Go straight into the garden.
It's going to the garden and for the smokers in the band. I noticed it, opened it up, the first thing I saw was an ashtray.
Yeah. Bit of privacy as well for anyone that doesn't want to hang out with everybody else down there. They got their own little area to hang out in. Not a lot of tracking goes on in here. It's not super well excluded, but you've got to have a back room to store all sorts of stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
Miscellaneous cables and guitar pedals on here. And then a classic little thing you see in studios a lot, the 10 cone on the stair stand.
Do you use it?
Sometimes when people ask.
Right. It was great for a while.
You don't need it when you've got a FET.
Yeah, well, and you don't need it when you've got Pro Tools and plugins and stuff like that anymore.
Oh, yeah.
But they were so much fun. And I love I think it was like late 90s when I first started using them. And you could just really get some really lovely low end going on in a tracking situation. That was always great about them. Before you had fancy plugins and also fancy plugins would also mess with the phase and stuff in those days. Put that on, bring it up, everybody's just like satisfied. Oh yeah, the kick sounds great. So.
There are so many things I feel like as a recording engineer, you often just do them for the kind of ceremony or for the sound while you're tracking.
Sure.
Sometimes it's that. You get like, you turn it up and then the sub and then the drummer gets really excited by the sub.
Put it on a bass amp?
Bass amp sometimes, yeah. You get a similar kind of like sub-harmonic frequency thing.
Because the Jeff Emerick trick is he took Taxman is an 18-inch cab mic'd by another 18-inch
speaker.
It's
just full.
I'm sure you could pick all that low end up in this little tiny mic.
Yeah. But it gets the musicians to play better. And they think they get all that kind of extra attention. You're like, 3 mics on my kick. Wow, I must be really important.
And another stag.
Another kind of symbol of Brighton Electric for a long time was the stag. It used to be on our logos and things. And I think we toyed with the idea of taking it down, but then there's just an empty space. So it's nice that it's there.
I mean, you're in Brighton, which is obviously heavily associated with seagulls.
Seagulls, yeah, we can have a seagull up there actually. That might be a bit more interesting. One of my favourite things in this whole studio, which is so underrated, is this.
Talkback on your foot, yeah.
This is a switch that turns on the talkback.
That's what I had under my SSL for decades.
Yeah, it's just... We used to have the actual talkback from the desk routed in with this gooseneck. Yeah. But the switches kept going and it became really difficult to fix, and then you had to kind of twist this aux knob quite a lot.
Is that an AKG?
I think it's a Bayer.
Yeah, because a lot of consoles, they had AKG D19s on them.
Yeah.
So like the Beatle kind of like holy grail of D19 was actually just used for those.
That's a Bayer one. But yeah, super handy that you can, if you want, latch it so your hand's free and you can just have a chat openly.
Right. You just have to remember to take that off when you're telling. When you're in here, you got to leave this on by mistake, and the bass player's having the drummer doesn't know what. You're like
Yeah, don't say that. Which is why the foot's so good, because you can still. Yeah. It's actually mostly about being able to turn the talkback on and still do things in Pro Tools, still edit and move around and stuff.
Now you've got a beautiful selection here. Yeah. Got some 312s here once again. Got the 1073, a pair, just the pre's, no EQ, that's great. But this is some nice schnizzle here. Yeah. We do love Chandler as a company and their products are great. TG1, very, very nice.
It just is, on rooms, the setting that it's on now, that one recovery time, it's like 50 milliseconds, is just so enthusiastic and just like makes a room feel twice as big.
Nice. Which is a pretty decent sized room, although you can tell it's very, very treated.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite manipulatable. We've got a huge rug that we can pull back. We'll go in there in a minute and have a look at the room properly. But
nice to see a hardware Sans amp. Just can't beat them. I have one of these as well. 162 stereo 160. I love those. I bought mine for $350 off eBay when nobody knew what they were. That was about 20-something years ago.
Yeah, they're a bit more than that now. But they, I love this as well. The bypass button on it isn't actually a light. It's just a little bit of little plastic that just turns around. But that's awesome. We love that. We've got another kind of set of 550s in the 5500.
Right.
EQ, another LA2, and the 176, and the 160s.
Pair of 160s, pair of distressors. Both rooms have it, but you've got an extra pair of 1176s there.
Yeah, we've got the LNs there.
And an Allen Smart.
Yeah.
Are you using that on your bus compression, presumably?
Yeah, that or the Neve. But I actually quite like that. With that AEA we looked at a minute ago, I quite like this.
Yeah.
With the stereo it's got a crush setting on it, which kind of just like crunches up the low end. If you put the AEA kind of near the kick drum, you get a nice round.
One of the inherent things with the Allen Smart is like, they do distort a little differently and a little quicker than the ones in at least in my console. And that's kind of a good thing. The crush on this, I know what you mean. It just has a little extra energy to it, which is fantastic.
It's fun. It's a little bit like transistory, transformer kind of.
Yep. Nice. Selma treble and bass. Yeah. When I was a kid, these were about £3. Nobody cared about Selma stuff.
They're still super underrated. They are still a good price considering what you get for them. You know, if you compare these two bass heads, oh my God, that is a very expensive thing. Incredible. Yeah. That you can get some deals on it. Still a little bit of a hidden gem. But it's great for guitar and bass, that Selma. Definitely.
Well, it's just why it's treble and bass. It was the sort of all-in-one, do the job, probably stick a microphone in there as well. You know, that was... I remember they used to have those PA, guitar heady, whatever things when I was a kid. And used to
like a speaker load?
Yeah, you used to kind of plug into it and there was a big, tall, probably 4, 8, 10, 12-inch speakers in a box and everything would go through it. You had to do what you had to do. Yeah, nice SVT. Brighton, presumably for the NS10s.
That's the NS10s, and then those two massive things below it are the power supplies for the console.
Nice. What's this? DBX
that is a splitter, because underneath our ATCs up here, we've actually got 2 ATC kind of just subs. So that is a crossover for the subs.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Let's check out the live room.
Cool, let's go through to the live room.
So you've got nice heavy-duty dimmers here.
Yeah, you can set the vibe nice and easy.
Nice.
People always think, though, that these are going to kind of like change your compression settings because they kind of look like,
You should probably put like guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
Bass, vocals.
Release, attack.
It could be a talent control.
Hello. Hello, how you going?
Hello.
You guys are in
how's it
going? Yeah, we are.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, nice one, man. From Jimmy, what you think?
We were just checking you down the room.
I'm James, it's Derry.
How you doing? You all right? Yeah, excellent.
I'm Josh.
Are you Brighton? Are you all Brighton based?
Yeah, we are Brighton based, yeah.
Yeah, we were downstairs and we were just like, who the heck is that band? It's so cool.
It was so funny because we were just taking the right piss out of that tune. And then we saw that you were up there and I'm like, oh God, we've actually got to do it seriously now. You had the camera on the thing, didn't you?
It's awesome. You guys are awesome.
So, in the studio, it's super great to have a Hammond here. It's not an original B3, but just, when you've got a Hammond, you've got one. There's a Leslie cabinet as well, which we love running stuff through. Super cool for vocals or just like guitars, really fun to mess around with. As you can kind of see, there's like vintage Fender amps everywhere, which we love in the studio. A Bassman 135 over there and a Bassman 10 over there as well. This amazing SVT style guitar amp that Ampeg made, which just distorts so interestingly and is super loud. Then if we go over to this side of the room, classic Ludwig Black Pearl drum kit, a whole bunch of baffles so you can really organize the room the way you want it to, which is awesome, and a Yamaha U3 piano, which is super nice, bright and poppy. One thing as well I might just show is the fact that I can roll the carpet back and you can see the floor a bit more. So when we do want to get a bit more of a bright sound, we can just roll the carpet up, which is actually a lot easier than you'd imagine. And just doing that basically allows you to see the nice hardwood floor, but also it just means that you can get a lot more kind of top-end bright reflections coming back, even put room mics low to the ground for some kind of like slappy, bright wood effect. Okay, so the glass, not usually a thing that you kind of talk about inheriting, but this glass actually came from Eden Studios in London, where some really amazing bands played through. So the Smiths would have played on the other side of that glass in a different building, but it's still kind of cool to know that they played there, as well as the Sex Pistols. Anyway, that's the glass. Let's go and talk about the mic cupboard through here. And we've got this big flight case of a mic cupboard. There we go. So it's nicely laid out. Got to say, I love this drawer function. Got some dynamic mics in there, 57s, 421s. And we've got another dynamic drawer here, but the kind of more large diaphragm dynamic, like a vintage RA20, a vintage 441, a D12 for kind of more like mid-rangey punchy kick stuff, older sounding things, Heil PR30 for heavy guitars, 201, D112 of course, and an SM7. Then, this is our kind of first shelf of condensers, minus these two. A pair of 184s, a Blueberry, which is just a really nice cardioid condenser. A pair of Josephson E22Ss. Steve Albini collaborated on these mics to make them kind of side address, but these are awesome snare mics or tom mics. You can just kind of poke them over the top, nice and easily like that. They're really, really useful. A Calrex CB20, not a super famous mic, but just a high-pass cardioid pencil condenser. Oh, and then, yeah, starting with ribbons, over here we've got a pair of M160s hypercardioid ribbon mics, which I think me and Warren talked about in another video. But these are great for overheads and guitar amps, and they can handle high SPL. Even though they're ribbon mics, they can actually take a lot. Then down here, we do have a pair of Coles, which every studio kind of has to have. Oh, they're just kind of stuck to each other. Nice old ones. A pair of Royer 121s as well, which are awesome for guitars and rooms. A Bloom line for these, sounds awesome. For rooms, tuck those things back in. Then we got the money drawer, where we have a Flea 47, a pair of U87s, and my favorite mic in the whole building, which is this vintage FET 47, which actually came from Townhouse Studios. Townhouse Studios, if you're not familiar, was actually where Phil Collins did a lot of his recording. And in fact, it's where In the Air Tonight was recorded. So we think that there's a small chance that that massive drum fill from In the Air Tonight might have gone through this FET. Who knows? But it is from that studio and it is from that time. So there's a chance that it was. Then at the bottom here, more kind of special treats. We've got a lovely briefcase, which is just a beautiful thing. This is our U67, which gets a lot of use. Kind of valve-powered U87. Such a satisfying briefcase that it comes in, but it sounds amazing on vocals and guitars and acoustic, things like that. We have another AEA, which you saw a moment ago, the big stereo ribbon. And then a really pretty little box, which is this one here, which is the Soyuz pencil condensers, which just looks gorgeous, doesn't it? But these are great. These can actually handle quite a lot of SPL when you put the pads into them. Meaning you can put them on an electric guitar or even drums. They're really multi-purpose and just sound awesome. We love Soyuz.
Josh, thank you ever so much.
Thanks, Warren. Yeah, pleasure. Yeah.
There will be a link down below to Brighton Electric. This is a freaking awesome place.
Yeah, please check it out. If you're in the area, come visit, say hello, and come record here. Yeah.
It's fantastic. Thank you very much. So long, everybody. Farewell, Wiedersehen, au revoir, adios, ciao, goodbye.